birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Krystyn. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, friend.
Mm-hmm. Birthdays are cool. Birthdays are cool.
Birthday episode coming in hot.
Yeah. Double digits.
I'm excited for this one.
Well, you've been in the double digits since you were 10.
I was going to say, yeah, you guys, I'm 10. Big day.
The big 10-0. 10-0. Big 1-0.
Big 10-0. Wow.
You're now 100.
You've really aged me.
The big 10-0.
This is what spiritual wellness does for you guys at 100.
Right. My God. Do you think you'll live to 100?
Ooh, I think I'll live close.
Interesting to think about mortality, too.
Well, this is taking a spin I didn't fucking anticipate. Happy birthday, Krystyn. Let's talk about your untimely demise.
Let's talk about when you'll die.
Like over a decade ago, there was like a website going around that you could like put in certain information about yourself and it would predict your date of death.
What?
Yeah, it was a thing.
Is it still a thing?
I'm sure it's still a thing. It's got to be a thing.
Oh my God.
I can't for the life of me or the death of me recall what it is called.
Let's see. Oh dear. I love planning for our podcast episodes, but I also love the natural ways that just take us wherever the wind may blow.
There's just some shit. It just happens. It's going to just happen.
So I just asked Pi AI if there are websites that predict your death. And it said, instead of relying on death prediction websites, it's better to focus on living a healthy and fulfilling life.
Hey guys, this is healthcare versus sick care.
Taking care of yourself and your loved ones and seeking guidance and support from qualified medical professionals. What? Okay, fine. That did not answer the question. You could have just been like, yeah, there's these 3 sites.
I never did it, so I was like...
I didn't even know it existed. Death date website. Here you go.
Deep dive, guys.
It's called deathdate.info. Enter your or someone else's details and get the answers to the most. Bet it's one of these things that's also like, oh, this website's not mobile friendly. Fuck that.
They just want to steal your information.
Exactly. The Death Clock.
Yeah, that's it.
Deathclock.org.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Do you smoke? Your BMI?
Jesus
alcohol
Christ.
consumption. What the fuck?
Oh, wow. They are really going
Let's just
for
predict your death and how you're going to die.
I'm not doing this.
Nope.
I'm going to live to be
this
100.
And this website is archaic AF. There's also one called the Death Timer.
Oh, my God. Listen, I want to live a long, healthy life.
Yes.
I don't want to live to 100 for the sake of being 100.
Correct.
I want to be mobile. I want to be spry. I want to have my faculties about me, my mental faculties.
I'm listening to you, also reading this, but...
She's still on fucking death clock, you guys.
No, now I'm on Death Timer. But it says here, there's a disclaimer with a little asterisk. Death Timer uses data from the CIA, the FBI, and...
Shut the fuck up. And Pepsi Cola, you guys. Conspiracy theory.
No, you're never going to guess this next one. And the United Nations.
What the fuck?
To estimate your lifespan. Your estimated death date is determined by your birth date, gender, geographic location, and other factors such as smoking, alcohol use, obesity, and BMI. I'm curious to know what the United Nations has to do with any of that. Does the United Nations work with the CIA and the FBI? I don't think so.
I feel like all of this is bullshit.
I mean, yeah.
We're
just going to call bullshit on that.
We're just trying. I would rely more on ChatGPT to predict my fucking date of death than I would these websites.
Yes. So, all right. We should welcome everyone because we got a lot to get into. This is your episode, Krystyn.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas. The birthday edition, Krystyn's birthday edition. Do you guys know that we do a birthday episode for each of us every single season? So
I love it so much.
Yeah, no, it's important. I think it's important to celebrate you.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, it's great. All right, so let's talk about goals for this year, or perhaps, I think you told me at one point that you like to write a letter to your future self on your birthday.
That is accurate.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. My memory is not losing it yet. But I have some things, but I also want to hear about some of your things.
Okay, so I felt strongly for a couple of years now that my 44th year was going to be super duper important and literally life-changing for me. And I feel like it's time to set some shit on fire, right? And if we look at the numerology of 44, which I know we're going to get into, but it feels like I have laid this foundation. I've done all of this work for all of this healing. And now it is literally time to step up into my power in a way I have not done previously. And it's like all of these things I've been manifesting, all of these seeds that I've planted, shit's about to bloom. It feels really good.
I agree. I think it's significant too in the sense that when you listen to your own guidance and intuition, that will never steer you wrong. And I think that different years mean different things. And I have found that there are certain birthdays where I haven't necessarily reflected or gone through the motions. It just was what it was. I just went through the motions, especially in some of, my 30s. After having children, I think you tend to overlook your own birthday because you're focused on the kids and you're focused on their needs. And it's kind of, you take a back seat. And I feel very strongly that since we have started this podcast, but when I started my spiritual awakening, and we've been putting a lot of intention and a lot of energy behind our ideas, our creativity, giving ourselves self-care. It takes that to another level in the sense that, I think it's really powerful that you're able to take that energy that you're feeling about this 44th year and amplify it because you're listening to yourself. You're listening to that guidance. You know that this is going to take place.
Well, and it feels like this is no longer about pivoting or striving or surviving. This is about trusting that what I've built is strong enough to hold who I'm about to become. And that is the biggest takeaway for me this year, is that I have to trust that everything I've built is strong enough to support me and allow myself to become that next version of who I'm going to be, because there's a lot of shit that I am ready to shed.
Is there a significant story or an event or a meditation or some sort of download that came into your brain that gave you this information about this 44th year? Or has it been a combination and a cumulation of?
I think it's been a cumulative effect, but at one point I do remember seeing the number 44 pop up. And this was probably 2020-ish. And thinking to myself, this is going to be important. And the podcast was nowhere, not even a thought in the ether at all at that point.
Mm-mm.
At least not in our conscious thought.
Correct.
And it just is wow, so much has happened over the past 5 years that I would never have expected. And life is blooming in this really beautiful way. And so I don't feel like there's one specific download that I got other than having this striking moment of just feeling this is going to be great, whatever it is. And I knew that 2024 was going to be a year of change and of things having to fall away in order for the new to be built.
Same.
And I remember in the beginning of 2024, everybody was like, oh my God, I'm so worried. There was so much fear around things crumbling and old systems crumbling. And I was like, I'm here for it.
I didn't have any fear.
There was a lot. If you looked into astrology, there was a lot of fear surrounding it.
Well, again, fear for me is false evidence appearing real. Right. Anytime that, and it still rears its head all the time. But I'm always, always, always quick to be false evidence appearing real. What is it about whatever I'm feeling about this fear that I need to break down? And in 2024, I was in a place that the chaos, I was like, let's fucking go. But I wasn't afraid of the chaos. And I wasn't afraid of not trusting my team of light to support me. I was like, I can remember this exact moments last year in April when all of these weird significant things were happening to us, my family, like the TV falling off the
I was
wall,
just thinking that.
the getting the flat tire in your driveway, the tree falling on our fence, the backyard flooding in this fucking weird way that had never flooded before. And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah, but wait, hold on. Let's look at some of the things that have occurred this week. I want to talk about something. You're talking about a whole year ago. Some of this stuff happened. This week, you acquired a new car. You had the concrete fixed around the outside where all this weird flooding was happening. And we weirdly got a new TV mount. So like small synchronicities, but still like you're seeing things come full circle from where they were April of 2024.
Yes. But in those moments, what I was trying to like articulate is the fact that I wasn't in a place of woe is me. Because my husband at one point when the TV fell, because that was weird. That was weird.
That call.
That was weird. And he was like, what the fuck did I do? And I was like, you didn't do anything. This is happening for us. And he was like, shut up. Because like the TV
Calm
fell.
down, Tony Robbins.
Yeah, and like the TV did not recover from that fall, right? And then the tire. And remember when he had to come rescue us? And I was like, Jeff, and he was like also just giving me that like shut up vibe, like shut up, you know. And I was like, okay, but there's always full circle moments. There's always the ability to reflect, and I think that celebrating your 44th year, and we can get into the significance behind the numbers. I just think it's cool. And it's a testament to you that you are keeping a hold of those downloads when they happen, and in a way that allows you to know that you're moving into this year on this path.
Well, I'm working on myself in a way that I've never worked on myself in the past. I might have scraped the surface at some of these things, but I'm really digging deep into my power, and the universe has presented me with a lot of my past that I needed to confront and stand in my power about. And I've done that. And I've done that as recently as 2 days ago. You know, it is like me trusting myself. And that's what this whole year and this whole journey in this cycle is about right now, is trusting myself. And I also realized that I've been listening to a lot of like abundance audiobooks and things like that, and listening to different people talk about it, because everybody kind of has their own take, right? And I realized that I don't have a fear of putting myself out there. I don't have a fear of being unordinary.
Unique.
Unordinary? Uncommon. Rare. I don't have a fear of being rare.
That word's going to come up here in a minute.
Oh, shit. But I do have, and I'm shedding this, or did have, a deep-seated fear of being successful. And it came from watching people in my life be successful and then lose everything they had on repeat in the same cycle. And so I realized that those things that I witnessed had manifested into a very few layers deep. Well, and it was this book I was listening to, and it was actually talking about manifesting money, right? And they were talking about you might say, yes, I deserve to earn X amount of dollars and have all these affirmations. And you might believe that, but you also have a secondary belief that is your fear of something. And in that moment, I realized I have a secondary belief, or had a secondary belief in fear of being successful. And so I'm currently working on kicking that the fuck out of my life.
Right.
Because it ultimately, and this is it's all what I'm working on right now, is entering my divine flow, right? Being in flow. I have existed in this space, and really this was rooted for me in being a single mom, was that at that time, I went right into my divine masculine. I had to be in the zone. I had to make sure that I had all of my shit together, because my daughter was depending on me and I couldn't let her down. I had to be all the things. And so it put me in a state, though, of a little bit of a scarcity mentality, because there was fear of okay, am I going to be able to do this? Right. And it's okay, well, if you want to, you need to pull back. You need to make sure that you are making smart choices. And all of those things led me to being out of my divine feminine flow.
And it's easy to get out of flow.
So easy, especially when you're in a world that's all about progressing forward, moving forward in terms of your material or financial perceived success or abundance.
Right.
Well, I think this flow correlates with the number 44 because 44 is its own synchronous angel number, but also equals 8, which is all about that infinite divine flow.
Yep. You put an 8 on its side and it's now the infinity symbol.
One of my best friends, she's been like a dear friend of mine since high school. And the infinity symbol has always been her thing. It's like what rainbows are to you, Rach. It's like the infinity symbol to her.
All right. So continue with the infinity symbol here.
Well, do we want to talk about 8 or 44 first?
Let's talk about 44.
Let's go.
I thought it was interesting because when I started, I have this really cool book called The Power of Numbers.
It was sitting on my counter when you were here last time. And I had seen some numbers and I grabbed it and I took some screenshots because I was like super intrigued. I love that book.
Yeah, this was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law. She gives the best Christmas gifts.
She did a great job.
Shout out to Betsy. So when I started reading this, and not that I want to read it in totality, but I just thought it was really interesting because 44, it says 44 rubs some people the wrong way. It creates tension and anxiety, possibly symbolizing problems. The number can produce the very tension and anxiety of which it warns. Ugh. Hold up. Before you flip the page and go to another number, here's some good news. For other people, power number 44 signifies healing and getting better. For us, 44 is connected to both worry and wellness. When you think about it, tension, anxiety, and healing are fundamentally linked. Trainers will tell you that being tense can lead to injuries. Understandable. If we are or someone we know is hurting, we likely feel anxious and concerned. Too much worry, of course, can wreak havoc on the healing process. And then it just goes on. If you're seeing 44 around, consider whether you could use an infusion of positivity. No doubt the easiest way to give yourself one is simply to smile. When you smile, your body releases feel-good hormones. The effects of smiling are largely the same whether your smile is real or fake. When you smile, you appear friendlier and more approachable to others, likely leading to increased social interactions. This in turn will make you feel happier. And the number 4 is the only number in the English language that has the same number of letters as the number itself.
I kept receiving this messaging that you're held and you're being supported to build something lasting. Keep going. Because a lot of the research that I had done was talking about how it's like a master builder number, right? This is about your foundation, your stability, your daily ritual. I don't know. It just feels like divine reinforcement is happening.
I agree. And I think that when you look at what I just read about how you can have worry and anxiety, but also wellness, I think that it speaks very well to what you have even said at the beginning of this podcast episode was all of that, the anxiety, the worry, the stress, the limitations that you have been dealing with and breaking down is now you're ready to blossom. That's exactly what you said. And I think that is a beautiful metaphor for this year ahead, for your birthday, your 44th year on this lovely planet Earth.
Well, it feels like, okay, I've done the dreaming. I've done the planning. Now it's time to do the living in that space. So the physical manifestation of that feels like I'm going to tangibly feel that here in the next year. If you're looking for a ritual or a reflection, if you are also turning 44 this year, or you have an 8, this is an 8 for you, I would light 2 candles for the 4s, right? Foundation and support. And then draw an 8, an infinity loop. You could use coins. You can draw it to create it. And then I want you to reflect on this. And some of the things that you could ask yourself are, what am I building that's meant to last? Where am I ready to stand in my power? What energy do I want to pour into my life this year? And knowing that it'll echo back to me in abundance. So that's my journaling and my ritual and reflection for you all to do. Because to what Rachel said earlier, I do write a letter to myself every year. And it's so powerful to go back and look and see who I was a year ago. Because in our everyday, we don't necessarily see how much we've changed or how much we've grown. Or maybe for some people, fallen back into old habits, right? Like that's normal. So I would just say, write yourself a letter, maybe get a little frisky with it too. You looking sexy. Do you remember in the Awakening Your Inner Wild female archetype episode, I was talking about another book I couldn't find to remember?
Yes.
I found it.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I've had this book for over 10 years, and it hit for me at one point. It does not necessarily hit for me the same that it did when I was like in my early 30s.
That's Sex in the City for me, man.
Right. And when I was really coming into being somebody different and starting my business and going through divorce and like all of these things, being a young mom. So I will put the link out there for you. I don't even know if this woman's business exists anymore because I haven't looked it up. But she used to have a business called Booty Parlor.
Okay.
And the book is The Official Booty Parlor Mojo Makeover, 4 Weeks to a Sexier You. Some of it doesn't hit for me because I was like skimming through it, but there are some really good things in the back. And she does outline her own kind of archetypes in here.
So it's like self-care for how you look at yourself and how you talk to yourself. So let's talk about this real quick because this has been something that has been on my mind a lot this week, is just the power of thoughts and the power of your words. And what we think is what we believe. And I know that may sound like a bunch of baloney, but literally when you let those thoughts pass through your brain, if you don't have that thought and stop it and be like, no, let's just tweak that. We're not going to talk about ourselves like that. And reword that sentence.
And what we believe becomes reality.
Exactly.
So what we think ultimately becomes the reality we're going to live in.
And our thoughts have such strong frequency, almost, I would argue, stronger frequency than our actual words that we say out of our mouth.
All right, we're going to talk about thoughts. We're going to do this questionnaire that's in here.
Okie dokie. And then we can talk about the number 6 for
because
the year.
It does correlate to different types that she has in here. And she has them named as models. So, Rachel, I shall ask you these questions. I want you to focus on how you think about, feel, and experience your own mojo or sexuality in this very moment, uninterrupted, without judgment, and with total honesty. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question number 1. So this is going to be like a mindset, and this is multiple choice. I don't know if we'll go through all of these, but we'll do a couple.
Okay.
Right? I experience feelings of guilt about having sex and feel as though it's dirty. I have trouble reaching orgasm and am sometimes unsure whether I've had one. Faking orgasms is a part of my regular routine. When I was growing up, sex education was about the birds and the bees, but little else. Or I'm not honest with myself and my friends about sex.
D.
Okay.
Yeah, all the
That's
other.
number 4.
Okay.
All right.
Number 4.
All right, here's another one. I've had an interest in sex from an early age. I can be pretty demanding of my lovers. Jeffrey. I experiment, push boundaries, and explore my sexual life to the fullest. Or sex is an open topic of discussion for me. Or number 5, my sexuality is a defining characteristic of my identity.
Am I supposed to rank those?
You just pick one, what your mindset is around it.
What was D or 4?
Sex is an open topic of discussion for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to go through, there's 3 more questions, and then we can figure out what your type is.
Okay.
Sex comes only after everything else I have to get done in my day, if at all. My kids are my top priority. My sexual identity has changed since I had kids. I find it difficult to find the time to take care of and pamper myself. Or my partner's drive is higher than mine.
I mean, all of those. So I just have to pick the top one.
Yeah. What you feel like most corresponds with your mindset.
The one about changing. I think that was 3.
Oh, my sexual identity has changed since I had kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel my sex life lacks frequency and excitement. I don't put as much effort into my sexuality now that I'm in a monogamous relationship. It's easier for me to take care of my own orgasm rather than trying to have one with my partner or instruct him on how to get me there. My partner's sex drives are often out of sync, or more seductive experiences in my relationship would help me feel desired.
Number 2.
Okay. And the last one, I have been single longer than I'd like. I feel as if something is holding me back from going after the sex life, relationship, or intimacy that I desire. I'm confident flirting, but don't know how to close the deal. I'm hungry to learn more about sex and sexuality through an intimate relationship. Or I'm mostly comfortable with my body, but have anxiety over being naked with someone else.
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. So you had 2 number 2s and you had 2 number 4s.
Correct.
Which were your most common answers. So we'll talk about both of these types. Now, model 2 is the adventure seeker.
Okay.
You have good sex and relationships, which is what helps you be so adventurous, but you tend to get stuck in ruts where it's all about the action and less about the connection. Your let's try anything attitude and an endless hunger for information are a great foundation upon which to explore all aspects of your sexuality. When you were growing up, sex was likely a more open topic in your household, which helped give you a healthy, you're like, nope, give you a healthy self-esteem and openness about your body. You weren't afraid of society, family, or religious expectations about sex. Maybe this is why you were also number 4.
But I'm here for it.
Yeah, you consistently want to take your sexual explorations to even higher levels, but you even get stuck sometimes and maybe unsure about how to break through your plateau.
Literally this morning, I told Jeff, we need to carve out time for ourselves to be intimate.
God, isn't that such a fuck?
Because
like a mind fuck there. You're like, we got to carve out some time in our schedule because it's true.
The thing is, though, at the end of the night, when we need to sleep,
so exhausted.
I do, but I'm like, my body is like, it's time for bed. And it sucks because like he definitely, wants it and I would love to give it to him, but I'm like, because I want to go to sleep and I don't like to half-ass things. You know what I mean?
She wants to put her whole ass into
I want to put
sex.
the whole ass into it. I mean, it's just life. And I know that this is the season that we're in, but I had this conversation with them this morning and I was like, we need to carve out time for us. We have to figure this out because the other thing is it's hard to have sex with kids around. It just is. Like, and I know there are some people in our circles that are super honest and they just tell their kids. Our kids know we have sex and that's about as comfortable as we want to get with it. I don't need to tell them, okay, now we're going to go have sex. Like they don't need to be a part of that dialogue for me.
Right.
To each their own.
Isn't
to
it
each
so
their
great?
own. But
listen,
like,
I would have never said some of the shit that our kids say to us, to my parents about sex.
No.
Ever. But Evie, like a couple of weeks ago, she's like, so just like out of the blue, like nothing would have even remotely triggered this conversation, right? I think she's playing Duolingo or something. And she was like, so how often do you guys have sex? I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope,
like,
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm not answering that
No,
question.
ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Kids are so fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, they really are. And part of me is like, that's cool that they're comfortable about like asking those questions, but also it's like, there are certain things that we can talk about and share. And then there's other things that it's just inappropriate. And how often your father and I have sex is one of those things.
Right. How do you find the time?
Yes.
I'm not telling you that either.
Exactly. Right. Okay, so continue.
Okay,
that's
so
my number 2.
That's your number 2. Your model 4 is the frustrated fox.
Okay, this is probably more appropriate or tracking.
As I'm reading it, it's really do you feel as though you're having enough sex in your relationship or that you're satisfied enough? And it just talks about like that kind of communication breakdown between partners. And, are we feeling desired? Are we desiring our partners?
I feel desired by Jeff. I don't always feel desired by myself.
Yes, and that's part of this book.
Like he does a great job of seeing me.
Well, you might find solo sessions become your sexual activity of choice.
Solo sessions.
Yeah, and it talks about like what to look for. And in this, it talks about communicating with your lover, deciding,
This goes back to my inner wild.
I know.
Where I said I was going to masturbate every day.
God damn it. She's not going to, you guys. Have you masturbated even since that episode?
Sure haven't.
See? Bullshit. I call bullshit. Every day, my ass.
Have you?
No. fucking
So
time.
clearly we're both in a similar boat here. That's not good. We should be masturbating at least once a month.
Dude, I'm lucky if I have time to freaking
I know.
do my hair.
I know. This book is going to highlight this, though, too.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Krystyn. My gift to you is a dildo.
Oh my God, I saw a video this week of this dog, and he found something in the weeds, and he comes out with it. His owner's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. And he's got this huge freaking dildo
Oh my God.
in his mouth.
He found it?
He found it.
Like in the woods?
In the weeds.
Ah. That would be hysterical.
Oh, man. That's some shit Griswolds would do and then not give it up. But what do you do? The dog wouldn't let it go.
I bet he won
I felt good on his teeth.
It probably had some pretty strong scent on it.
Oh.
We all know
So-
how dogs love to eat crotches.
We're not going down this
Crotches of underwear. I was
Happy
over.
birthday, Krystyn.
Yeah.
Last year we talked about pooping, and this year we talked about...
Dogs eating crotches. Well, it makes me think of two things. One, my girlfriend was folding laundry the other day, and I was over at her house. She has two dogs, and one of them is a newer dog. And so she's folding her laundry, and she holds up, she's like, these are my favorite fucking sleep shorts. And I was like, oh. She's like, and now they don't have a crotch. And I was like, oh, yeah. I had that happen to me in college at a frat house. I woke up the next morning and middle of the thong gone. Thong still intact, crotch gone.
I love how this happened at a frat house. Like,
Well,
what?
there was, I used to hook up with this one particular boy. His name was...
Did he eat them or did he have a dog?
No, his dog Yippos ate them. And so I said to her, I was like, yeah, okay. Are you keeping the shorts? And she's like, yeah, they're my favorite sleep shorts.
What
I
are
was
you
like,
gonna do?
I was like, they don't have a crotch anymore. That other podcast that we love and adore, LuAnna,
Oh my God.
With
they're
the dog?
so good.
where they had the surprise birthday party. Did I tell you this one? They always do a segment where they tell really inappropriate, disgusting, hilarious stories that their viewers send in. And this one was about a woman that had this like surprise birthday party. And she came home from, I don't know, work or a date or dinner or something, and just went right to her kitchen, walked right past the living room, right past the dining room, right to her kitchen. And everyone's like in silence, like waiting. And apparently she like took some peanut butter and like lathered her lady bits up, and they walked in to see the dog just
that's so gross.
going to town. I mean, what?
God damn
Like,
it.
I cannot even.
It's the visual, man.
I mean,
it's
it
the
really
fucking
is.
visual.
It
I
really
cannot.
is.
God, that is just a yeast infection waiting to happen, lady.
That's taking masturbation to another level.
That's not masturbation.
Oh, no, that's bestiality.
That is
Whoa.
not masturbation, Rachel. Let's just be clear, guys. When we're talking about pleasuring yourself, we're not telling you.
Don't involve your pets.
Do not lather your lady bits in peanut butter.
No.
Man or dog, don't do it.
That's no. Mm-mm.
Good God.
For 2025 numerology horoscope, the number 6 represents accountability, sympathy, and growth. These people prioritize family and community. They're eager to They are eager. Oh,
I am Igor.
they are eager. They are eager to tackle difficulties related to these areas. Okay, so personality strengths. The number 6 people are family and community oriented, and they enjoy taking on total responsibility for the benefit of their families. They want to encourage happiness in these surroundings, and this type of person is comfortable with people of all different ages, and they utilize their intelligence to encourage harmony in their relationships. The planet Venus rules those born under the number 6. As a result, they will prioritize beauty, love, and health in their lives. These people genuinely care about family members and will go out to any effort to help them. Weaknesses. Those who are number
None.
6
I'm a fucking legend.
tend to take on more duties than they're capable of.
Oh, yeah. Here. Present and accounted for.
This will be quite stressful for them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may dislike their thoughts and be dissatisfied with their presence in their
Fuck
lives.
you guys. If this is you and you don't like my thoughts and you're dissatisfied with my life choices, fuck off.
Uh-huh. All right, so your predictions.
Ooh, lay it on me.
Number 6 will achieve financial security in their life. in 2025. They will be able to cover any new costs with their improved cash flow. The second part of February 2025 will witness increasing money flow. Number 6 persons will have several opportunities throughout August. Collaboration with others will significantly improve their talents. The months of July and October will be difficult.
July?
In October.
No.
You may need to make the correct decisions.
Oh.
From January to March, you should use caution while making judgments. Overall, 2025 will enable you to form valuable connections with others. And the year 2025 provides several opportunities for you to explore, enjoy independence, and be flexible. You should take advantage of all of those changes. And the year is also synonymous with following your life purpose.
Did you get this off the same website that told you that there's no death clock?
No, this was off sunsigns.org. Don't be a dickhead.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what you say about that?
I feel like some of that stuff tracks in terms of January to March, in terms of making decisions. Again, I tend not to look at things with a negative sphere because I think all of the things happen for us in order to push us to where we're going to be next. So I'm here for it. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's working out for my greater good.
I agree.
And this year is going to be amazing.
Did you write down 44 things?
I didn't. Instead, because I was like, if I write down 44 things that I have learned, we're going to be here forever.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So instead, I was thinking about it. I've decided that I'm creating a My Life at 44 playlist. And we're going to kind of go through songs of importance.
I'm here for this.
I know. I'll share it. It'll be a Spotify playlist and it'll go through like girlhood, heartbreak energy, becoming a mom, spiritual reawakenings, and like what I'm claiming now.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be all of this wrapped into one Krystyn playlist of how I've kind of felt. And hopefully some of these songs will make you feel too.
No, I love that. Music is such an incredible healing modality.
Well, it's reminding me of what I've become, where I've been, who I've loved, who I'm becoming. It's like my soul playlist.
I know. Yes.
So that's what I'm going to do.
It'll be interesting which ones that you create it now, but
Correct.
Then I think it'll be cool to see what songs you add to it throughout your 44th year.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that'll be really neat because I'm constantly getting songs where I'm like, yes, this tracks. Okay, thank you, universe. Well, did you know that your name, it means anointed one?
It means annoying one.
Annoying. You're annoying AF.
It means
God.
annoying one.
No, I mean, it means anointed one, which I think is really beautiful because it adds that spiritual connection to earth, right? And to a higher energy. And that is not religious based. That's just...
I've always felt as though I was meant to have that connection to the universe, to Mother Earth, to Source, whatever you want to call it.
And your particular spelling is super rare.
Right.
Which I think is also symbolic of who you are because you are a rare woman. You have these unique characteristics that I know for me personally, I haven't found in anyone else that I have become friends with. I resonate with you. I am drawn to you. I'm drawn to your energy. And I think that I remember thinking when we first became friends and I was like, God, that is such a unique spelling of her name. And I always love that because my name is also not as unique as yours, but unique in the sense.
Yeah.
So I'm always attracted to people who have different spellings of their names.
Yeah.
And so I thought just highlighting that and just the fact that you are rare and that's not a negative. That is a beautiful part of who you are and what magic you always bring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's been part of my growth for a couple of decades was I remember being young and I had dark hair and I was taller than everybody else and I didn't really look like I fit in. And, all my heritage is coming out and like, I just remember wanting to be blonde and have blue eyes. I just wanted to have straight blonde hair and blue eyes and be like everybody else. And it wasn't until I was older that I started to really appreciate that I was different and I was very uniquely me. And it took me some time to appreciate that I was rare and I was different. And lean into that instead of being like, oh, this is bad.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because there's something safe about conforming, right? Especially as a child where you're like, having uniqueness is not something I think is easily absorbed by children in general. Like, it's like you look at your peers and you want to be a part of that. And I resonate with that too, even though I didn't look like I didn't have standout features. I wasn't tall. I didn't have long black hair. I always thought different than others. And I just was different. And so I had that same similar thought of like, why can't I just be like everyone else? I just want to fit in.
Right. And then it got to the point for me where I was like, oh, fuck this. I don't want anything to do with fitting in.
Yeah.
I'm going to be as standout as I can be. And then goth Krystyn was born.
Which was a natural progression, I feel like.
And then,
you were like, well, I already got like half of it down, so I don't have to color my hair. So like,
right.
And the goth phase in the 90s was huge.
Yeah, get out of here with your emo shit. It's the goth kids. We're the original OGs. But goth Krystyn then led straight into raver Krystyn and happy hardcore Krystyn, which was quite the departure. All right. I have something to wrap us up.
Okay, fantastic. I love that.
All right, this is a birthday blessing for my 44s. The power of the builder and the flow of the infinite. Today, I honor the sacred turning of 44, a number of grounded magic, strong roots, and divine support. I stand on the foundation I've built brick by brick, tear by tear, joy by joy. I know who I am, and I trust where I'm going. And so I step into the flow of power and purpose. This year, I allow abundance to find me. I claim my space. I speak my truth. I embody the life I've been dreaming of. I release the need to prove. I receive with open hands, knowing that what I give returns multiplied. I am the builder and the beacon. I am supported and sovereign. I am grounded and limitless. Happy 44. Let the year of divine flow and deep foundations begin.
No, I love that. I hope that we can do a craft where we can maybe canvas out that so you can display it.
Oh, I love a craft.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes, please. Also, can I just talk about the fact that we both showed up kimono styles today?
We do not coordinate this, guys.
Somebody, at all.
I had so many people reach out about our brown sweaters, our brown cardigans, and they're like, oh my God, did you coordinate that? No. Nope, we don't. That's called the motherfucking universe, people. The universe coordinates it. We just show up.
Universe.
We just show up and we're like, we're here for this.
I'm here. I am for in my kimono. All right, we're out.
Ciao.
Bye.